All right, all right, all right. It ain't Matthew McConaughey, it's me. D-Boy West Coast Uncensored, right on. Thank you for watching the past few videos. Um, get on the horse, right? Get back on doing it. Definitely been, as we're rolling out of the winter, we're into the last part of winter. We've been going towards the spring equinox on March 21st, I believe. So we're in the last part of the end of the winter, the transition, the mutable sign Pisces, which pops up. Why it's mutable, meaning it's a transformational sign because it garnishes and it has energy for the transformation. That's why when you see a lot of these different signs, when you see this, because it's kind of built into their sign, into the birth chart, right, of energies, that you will see Pisces can make changes in this because they're mutable folks. And then you see people who are fixed might have a tougher time changing things because they're so fixed. And the cardinal's always the beginning. The cardinal has a tough time adjusting to the transition because it's the start of something, even though the ending and the start are together. I think about this. The opposite of death is not life. The opposite of death is birth. When you realize birth and death or rebirth is actually the sum of the whole part. Think about that, right? They're together. Life, I started thinking about this, and I heard somebody said this, and it really hit me when they said this. They said there is no actually other side of life. That yin and yang, life is life, and you live it. It's not death. Death goes with birth. And I thought about it. Then I thought, just with me, expanded thinking, not saying it is or not. I did like what he said. Then first thing I thought was, woo, what if the opposite of life is backwards, which is evil, right? Because life, no, it's not. It's live, right? Live and life are pretty much close to the same thing, right? Live and life. So the opposite of live would be evil, right? When you reverse the words. So just a thought, but we're going to get into something good today. This could be the word of the day. I don't know if I'm going to put it as a word of the day because it is a word. It's going to be 3 words that I'm going to encaption here, and it could be a word. This could be a connected vibe. It's going to be that. So we're going to get in the word sin. You said sin. Yeah, we're going to get in the word sin. So, a violation of divine law, an offense against God. Watch. Sin, a Proto-Germanic source, Middle Dutch, right, of sin, transgression, trespass, and offense. So the notion is probably ultimately is true. The sin is real. A Gothic saying from collective, from becoming present, particle root is es. So I'm going to change things up. I also know, this is etymology, that the word sin is actually the name of the moon god before any, before this language and before that. And I believe Sumerian folks, the moon was a sin god. The name of, not sin god. We take it now as behaviors, but really the moon's name was sin. And then you see this, I'm going to throw this at you because it's going to go head on with it. Then you're going to have the sin being the moon god. And then in the story, this Abrahamic story of these Old Testament, right? If you really start paying attention, their holidays, festivals, religious experience, things they practice are all connected to practicing at nighttime. So when you tell somebody, hey, it's a Sabbath day, it's Saturday, they don't start Saturday night, they start Friday night because it's a night. All their things are nighttime. That's why even their Passover, it's never the same all the time because it's not the sun dial, it's not on the sun calendar, it's on the moon calendar because, ready for it? They practice moon. They're into the moon. Their foundation's the moon, actually. They also have some sun aspects in it, which you can find in the Old Testament, but they're really moon. their tradition, all the practices at night, the calendar. There's their calendars, the moon calendar, right? So Sin is actually the moon god. Look it up. You can even Google it on your phone and say, "Is Sin the moon god?" And it pops up immediately. Yep. That's where it came from. That's the foundation. That's why when I look at this in etymology, I'm wondering where this etymology, why, because it seems like things have been changed in some aspects, because I remember there's a time I look it up and it would tell me it was from Samaria, and now it just starts it with the English to the German to the Dutch. And I know this word is actually that. So here's another thing. What mountain did that specific person in the story go up? Do you know the name of the mountain? There's a mountain that he goes up to receive these tablets, right? Yada, yada, yada. Do you know the mountain? Sin. And you go, Sinai. We say Sinai, but it's really Sin. AI. Yeah, Sin. AI. Sinai. Or Sinai, they would say, but it's really Sin. AI. AI sound a little familiar these days. So, when you start looking at sin, right? I got another word for you. How about sin? Right? Sin with the SYN, or synthetic. What are you saying, Debo? How about AI? Synthetic, right? Synthetic. Artificial. Hence, artificial, synthetic material. Artificial. Reference to fiber, fabric. Right? Amphetamines. It goes into amphetamines. So synthetic is also, you can take the thetic out and put sin. S-Y-N. We're talking etymology. S-Y-N, right? So we got sin, which was a behavior in the religion, but it's really a foundation by the moon, who hangs out in a mountain. They go to worship and go get the law from this mountain, right? Which is Sinai, or Sin-AI. Come on now. Bring it on home. And then you have synthetic, which would be the same thing as an AI, or synthetic, right? You would have sin. S-I-N. Now we're looking at S-Y-N, synthetic. But here's another one for you. How about C-Y-N? And you start seeing that these words, because here you got a word that's called with many sounds, synthetic, right? Hey, when I go, so, and check this out, the word Cynthia, because it didn't give me synthetic with a C, but the word Cynthia, which is a C-Y-N, guess what? Also the poetic name of what? The moon. I'm telling you, it all ties in. So you got them blasting out all this stuff, right? We can upload your consciousness, and this certain fella has got this thing you can put in your head, and be able to put it in. You'll be able to upload your consciousness. You can go anywhere you want to in your brain. What's it called? It ends with a link. I forgot the word beginning of the program. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. One that uses one's name but doesn't act like the one that it uses. Definitely. You might be an alien. Look at the letter of those languages, the name, and it ties in. But anyways, so you have sin, S-I-N, S-Y-N, and you have CYN. And we notice that everything's being pushed into this monitoring of the system of everything's AI, right? Everything's AI. All these movies, all these shows, everything's AI. You start seeing we even have the ambassador to United Nations for is actually they're using a robot from Saudi Arabia. So think about it. You would have all these maybe talented women with their mastery, they've studied, they may even have their degrees or whatever that would be maybe fit there, but they gave it to a robot. Think about that. That's called AI, or synthetic. Not organic, but artificial. Things for me, this is getting deeper. If you're saying, where are you going with this? I'm just starting to see for me more and more the depth of where I'm at now and what I'm seeing of this reality more and more and more and more and more and more. You see that they're trying, this technology is not new. We're not the first ones that happen. This technology keeps repeating itself over and over and over through times and times, right? And you go, how do you know that? It's there. It's there. Quit going to certain things expecting to get the answers for the deceivers, because deceivers are deceivers that are deceivers. It's like I said, liars are liars that are liars. Hands been caught in the cookie jar too many times to trust. And if you do, that's when you're gonna get the side look from me. But also, I know you're not initiated yet. If you're still believing things are so, like I said, even the word BELIE, and then you put an Eve on it, VE. It means be alive. Be alive. No, not for me. This is the age of knowing, and it's time to be knowers, not believers. But anyways, so look at that. You got sin, which is the moon god. Then you have Cynthia here, which actually is a Latin Cynthia Dia, is the goddess of Artemis and Diana, who sinned to be born on Mount Cynthius, Greek, in the Isle of Delios. And the Isle of Delios is actually, what is she? She's a poet. She's a moon goddess. Then you go to Mount Ai, and I told you that religion in that story, he goes to Mount Sin Ai, and the religion practices moon worship. You go, oh, you can't. No, it's the truth. Everything they do is based on the moon and how the moon works. Just like everything based in Christianity is on the sun. The Son of God. The S-U-N. It's occultic stories. It's not literal stories. Hear what I'm saying? It's about occult, knowing the hidden meanings of this. So when you start seeing this, so you don't be deceived. Just like I've said many times, the gangster sees a tag, he knows the message he was supposed to receive. You don't when you drive by. You're like, man, they're wrecking the building, it's ugly, and they're just tagging it. There's no respect for these young folks. And there's part of that's true. But also, they're passing over a message that them that were received it, received it. And that's why when you see occultic knowledge, right, and meanings, and I may get into a couple books and share some stuff from you guys here, because I got a few books. How about The Hidden Symbols of All Ages by Manly P. Hall? The symbology is a whole language. When you know the symbology, it's telling you a whole story without any letters, without even reading a word, but you can read the symbol. That's how powerful it is. Notice a symbol is a foundational. Notice in drums and music, right? A symbol is what? It's a frequency and vibration played in music. The symbols have the same frequency and vibration, just like I went to this event a few weeks ago, and they were talking about crystals, and there were some people there that the person was introducing them to that their mindset wasn't hearing that. They were still very much in dogma, and one of them talked to me and said, what do you think about that? I said, I've known for a long time that that stones and crystals hold frequency and vibration. It's true. And they looked at me and go, really? And I go, yeah. It's actually a lot of what we're saying now, it's not totally hidden. But people don't want to read and pay the price to get it because they're fear, right? But for you who are hearing or just waking up, take your time to grow, but also punch the ticket. Go in. You are the access to yourself of the initiate. There's an initiator that will initiate you within you. And when you start trusting the initiation, he gives you a gift right away. And that gift he'll give you to use so you can start passing your initiation also will be your that frequency of trust that you'll start opening it up with your intuition activation. And when you start, the more and more you trust that activation, the more and more it will work for you. Then the initiator will always correct you. The corrector within you, the initiator, the coordinator, whatever you want to call it, will always correct you within. You're not far from, you're connected to, because it's within you. So above, so below. But this is really interesting if you start thinking the sin, the synthetic, and then the CYN was the moon goddess, Cynthia. And as the more and more you go down, it's amazing that you start seeing the I'm going to even put the moon god in here and see if it pops up. I'm going to get off here in a minute. I'm going to put the sin the moon god in the etymology. It doesn't say, it doesn't really go past a certain era of the 1400s right now. Let me see if I go up a little farther. No, but you can find this on the moon god being sin. Just Google it. It's there. It's history. Put moon god sin and it'll pop up immediately. Let's just trying to block it because there are some things that are being blocked now that weren't before. While some things, even if you go to their websites in some different areas, they're not trying to hide it from you. But it's this stuff more they would. It's a very cultic, empowering stuff. So yeah, this is interesting. That's why I'm saying the artificial intelligence, all this stuff, the AI is not new. I think it's a lot more advanced than they're telling us now because they only gives us a scrap on the tables to talk the talk. You're not in the inner club. I'm an older guy. You ever heard of George Carlin? Go watch George Carlin. Comedian from back in the 70s and 80s, passed away now. Around the time of Richard Pryor, he in those 70s and 80s. Richard Carlin, George Carlin was around, and he made his jokes on telling the truth and putting things together to make you think outside the box. And he says, it's a club, and you're not a member. And when you start knowing, you're like, you're right, because we never participated in it because it's been passed down from different eras, right? That's a whole thing about how these bloodlines kept things in unity. But anyways, Sin the moon god. You got synthetic. You got a mountain called Sin AI. Then what you got? The woman named Sin, girl named Cynthia. I usually call Cindy Sin. The Cindy friends I have, but Cynthia would be the same thing. Is actually a moon goddess. I'm telling you. This reality's not what you think it is. And you guys have a great, great, great day.